pandemic. A reminder there that we're recording from now on. Coming out of the pandemic and into the life on the other side of it, not back to normal, although some people are rushing back to normal. And at the end of most years, it's a bit of a tiring time of year, winding down towards the holiday season and the start of a new calendar year. But I know so many people from my coaching practice who are feeling overwhelmed, burnt out, and it's been a lot coming through 2022 and trying to look forward to 2023. So thinking of that, having this very, very timely healing session feels like a really important thing to do. We have two amazing speakers for you. Well, actually more than two speakers, but two presentations for you, and they're a chance to take part. But to let you know what to expect. We asked the people who will be talking to you today about what healing looks like for the communities involved in participatory grant making. What participatory grant making funders or communities can do to support their collectives, and what the role is of participatory grant makers in developing good practice, acknowledging and supporting healing as an essential element of anti-oppression and equity. My work is largely around consent and consent culture. I'm an artist and a writer. I do coaching and facilitation, enabling. I do activism. I'm the founder of the International Day of Consent and an organisation that I call the Irregular Way. And I call it that because I think that it's very much time for getting away from doing what's been normal for all these years and doing things differently, really being the change that we want to see in the world. So in this very polarized and divided world that we live in presently, blame and shame and division are certainly at the forefront in the UK. There's recession, diminished resources, a context of competition and scarcity. It's really hard to support people to get past that feeling of competing for scarce resources and to heal the divisions in our communities, to find that common ground and consensus, and to find a mindset of abundance through community. The systems and the spaces set up expectations that are very challenging. And I think that we need systems with space and an expectation of care, time for reflection, healing and well-being, putting that into the processes of our organisations and our organising, and recognising that individual needs, not homogeneity, are really important at being adaptable and flexible. I think it's really important also to be the example, to remember that our own individual healing practice is a way of manifesting change. We're embodying that change in ourselves. In the rush to do ever so much to help other people, and that's what we want to do, we can very easily find ourselves burned out and having nothing left to give. It's that old expression, I don't know where the expression comes from, maybe someone can tell me, but you can't pour from an empty cup. So doing and being by example, balancing what we need from what others need, and being the we together. I guess in a way that's what this session is all about. So the traumatic events and experiences that many of us have been through over the last year or so are here with us in this room today. Whatever you're feeling is welcome. And if during any of the work that we do today, you feel that you need some space from this group, of course you can leave at any time. But also, if you just let Millie know, she's on Participatory Grant Making Community on here, she can set you up a breakout space to pop into, so that you can just chill out without actually leaving the meeting, if that's what you want to do, to just take a moment for yourself. And also, if you feel that actually you need some support in that outer space, let Millie know as well. And all of the speakers that we're going to hear from today will be at various times available for one-to-one chats during and after the session. So we are going to have about an hour-ish of half an hour each from our two speaker groups. And later on, we're going to hear from Afia Walking Tree, who is an educator, ritualist, cultural drummer, ambassador, spiritual earth activist steward, community advocate trainer, and the founder of Spirit Drums, Raise Your Voice Jamaica, and more. And she's going to be taking us through a healing through deep engagement with all parts of ourselves. And before we get to Afia's session, we are going to hear from Stephanie de Wolf and Jennifer Lentfer, who are from Healing Solidarity. And they are an incredible organisation that some of you, I'm sure, will know. And they're going to take us through a bit of a taster and a demonstration of some of the ways that they work at Healing Solidarity Conference and online community. And that's what we've got to look forward to. So I'm going to be quiet now. Reiterate once more that if you need anything, message me, message Millie, and we're here for you. And I'm going to hand over to Jennifer and Stephanie to introduce themselves for the next half an hour or so.
Thank you so much, Jenny. I'm Jennifer Lentfer. I'm one of the advisory board members of Healing Solidarity, and I'm so glad and grateful to be with you all today. It's always inspiring to hear about groups of people I haven't heard about yet who are serious about sharing resources in new ways and building collective power while we do it, and upending the roots of our social goods sector, which are rooted in global inequality. We're not here for that anymore. So thank you for the work that you're doing, and thank you for showing up today. It is truly a pleasure to be invited into this space. I have to send some apologies from Stephanie de Wolf on her behalf. She had a conflict that arose and cannot be with us today, but I'm happy to hold this space with you all for the next half hour or so. And just share a little bit about who we are as Healing Solidarity. I'm going to share a few slides and then not share a few slides and then put some slides up. And we're going to do some free writing today. And we're going to kind of get into a pace so that I can hand over to our next set of people who will hold this space with you. But and share a little bit about what do we think of when we think of healing, particularly in the social good sector. So I am not good at the tech and the slides and the sharing and the what. So please bear with me as I attempt to do this on my own today and talk. Two things at once, y'all. Okay, here we go. Ta-da, share sound. Here we go. All right. Well, we are going to have a year-end reflection today for the next half hour. And again, I'm going to just welcome you on behalf of our entire advisory board and our circle of consultants who are pictured here. Healing Solidarity began in 2018. We just thought, wow, like all the stuff's happening in the sector. We've got the aid to sexual abuse scandals. We have a global pandemic. We have continuing Black Lives Matter uprisings around the world. And we really, as a consultancy, as a group of facilitators, as people who want to see a change in our sector, We really bring an intersectional and feminist and anti-racist lens to our work as we build what we call the missing skill sets. We are recognizing that oppressive systems outside of our organizations impact how our work is structured, organized, and carried out. So healing is this thing that has been commodified along with everything else in a capitalist system, right? It's this ticket we're supposed to buy and then arrive to. But we are really clear that healing cannot be scheduled, cannot be controlled, cannot be sold. Healing is slow work, but it is doing our work to process our pain and not pass it on and not recreate the harms that we're seeking to address. And healing for us also involves taking risks to disrupt the current operating paradigm. We have to offer alternatives and options, and we have to interrupt the harm. So when we think about this, we're thinking of body and somatic work. We're thinking of spiritual work. We're talking about ancestral inquiry. We're talking about creative and fun work. But we also want this to be deeply personal and political, deeply feminist. We want to build collective power and responsibility. We know healing is existential because at some point, if you're doing this work and not thinking, ooh, should I be doing this work? You're probably not doing it right. But we're culture building, we're recreating the world. And therefore, this healing thing that we're going to enter into today together in this small and short time is really unending. It requires ongoing practice. It is never a one and done thing. And so that's just this context that we want to keep sharing and highlighting with all of you. Because we've so been programmed to be transactional and to think if this, then this. But healing is much more mysterious than that. And so part of what we want to do is welcome you into the mystery of healing today, in which we don't know what's going to happen. And actually releasing the control is something that I personally am constantly learning and want to learn and want to keep practicing. So we're going to practice together today. That's it. That's all we're going to do. I'm going to put in the chat some of the things that guide us today as a group, as Healing Solidarity today and all the time. This is not a space of critique. That's not what we're here to do. We actually all have something to gain from interacting with each other. We create a brave space, but it's not necessarily safe all the time. And in fact, being pushed out of our comfort zones is part of what ushers in healing. We're going to operate by consent by all means possible. And that means you always get to say no. And we want to seek your permission rather than assume that you're going to participate. So please feel free to say no or say yes. The I, not we is important because we're not generalizing or assuming any universal lived experience. And in fact, these differences are things we are learning to work with all the time. And finally, this is my favorite one as a communication strategist. Just dare to be unprepared. Say it without thinking about it. We value progress over perfection. And really, when we're thinking about what we're going to say and trying to say it perfectly, it takes us out of active listening. So please know that Zoom fatigue is real. I'm so happy to see your faces. I love a group that everybody's on camera. You usually have to ask for that. That tells me a lot about who you are as a people. But do feel free to do whatever you need to do today to be comfortable. We're not robots. So move, doodle, get some water, no judgments. And just our invitation is to be with it all. All right. I'm going to take off screen for a minute and just say welcome again. We often start with poetry. Part of what we're trying to do as Healing Solidarity and everything we're doing today is to bring a pace and an intention that allows more of us to be here fully. And poetry is just an amazing way for me as a poet, as someone who appreciates words, to kind of bring people together. Because when we go into an organization, what we're trying to do is to create the conditions for healing, to create conditions for people to be vulnerable and not the expert, and to be brave and to slow down. And so we do that by reconnecting with the wisdom of our bodies and our breath. And we do this because oppressive systems that we're all navigating are disconnecting us from ourselves and from each other and from the places that hold us. So if it feels safe or easy for you today, I invite you to pause in this softness and pay attention to the widening that comes in each breath. And then listen to these words by Ben Okri from Mental Fight, an Anti-Spell for the 21st Century. Turn on your light. The new era is already here. Here, the new time begins anew. Every day is a new world, a new calendar. All great moments, all great eras are just every moment and every day writ large. You can't remake the world without remaking yourself. Each new era begins within. It is an inward event with unsuspected possibilities for inner liberation. We could use it to turn on our inward lights. We could use it to use even the dark and negative things positively. We could use the new era to clean our eyes, to see the world differently, to see ourselves more clearly. Only free people can make a free world. Infect the world with your light. Help fulfill the golden prophecies. Press forward the human genius. Our future is greater than our past. And when you're ready, just take a couple of deep breaths. And when you're ready, and no matter if or how you saw yourself in this poem or not, just feel free to rejoin the group. Okay. So today we really believe at Healing Solidarity that any healing begins by starting with our own self-knowledge first and going deeper and interrogating our own motivations and fears and losses and motivations and hopes and dreams and ways of being, so that we can come back together and do the collaborative work that's necessary. And so today we're going to work with 4 elements in this time together today. I'm going to share the screen again and show you some of these questions we're going to deal with. Hold on. All right. So what needs to be burned? What needs to be buried? What needs to flow? And what needs to breathe? Are questions that I'm gonna use to invite you in today. We're gonna do some free writing this morning. And we're gonna start with what you want to bury from 2022. Free writing is an amazing technique. And if you've never done it before, I'm just gonna explain it a little bit. If you would bring out a piece of paper and a pen, an actual thing to write with. If you want to type, that's fine, but I'm telling you, the writing matters. Humans are meant to write. If you can, pull out that paper. Free writing is beautiful because it's about noticing your subconscious. It's about letting it flow out of you without any sort of preconceived intention. It means I'm going to write whatever comes into my head, I'm going to write on the page. I'm not going to edit myself. because none of this is going to be shared. This is for me and only me. So if I get distracted and see the bird outside and say, oh, what a lovely bird. Oh, what a lovely bird is now on the page. Do you understand? Like, it's really about following our own thoughts and to know what we know and to know more of what we actually know beneath the surface of things. So we're gonna have a little bit of fire today. What needs to be burned from 2022? And hold on, let me put these questions in the chat for you all too. What from your experience? Maybe it was not even something that was really rough. Maybe it was just something that needs to transform, because fire is about transformation. We're going to put it in the chat. What from your experience in 2022 do you want to bury or eulogize or compost? What are the fears or disappointments or frustrations you want to do away with in order to enter 2023 with more peace and more ease? So just begin the writing, the free writing, the allowing yourself to know what you know about these questions. And I'm going to let you write for 2 minutes about this. What is it time to burn? And we're going to, hopefully, we're going to play the fire while you do it. Okay, 2 minutes. Burn. Okay, 2 minutes goes fast. Okay. If we had more time today, we'd talk about what we want to bury, but I'm going to move us on to some water to support this fire. And today we're going to ask the question about what needs to flow in to 2023. Given what we've burned or what we've buried, what from your experience do you want to move? What is stuck that maybe needs some nudging? What is ready for your acceptance? What needs your wisdom? Where does your wisdom need to flow in 2023? These are the questions we're going to ask ourselves right now. And we're going to ask for a couple more minutes on these questions. again, we can use the 4 elements as just a way to think about ourselves within a bigger picture, ourselves in nature's time, not just our project timelines, our funding timelines. Let us release ourselves from anything that constricts our ability to flow and to move and transform, which is what we're always being called to do. I just want to open it up a little bit for some group discussion before I close this time together. And this is just anything that you feel like is on your heart that you want to share. You know, what did you encounter in 2022 that was hard, or that you feel really you want to bring some healing to today? And what might you be ready to transform in 2023? Those are the juiciest kinds of questions. And I feel like are really beautiful questions to take us into the next session as well. And even just in these few moments together, what have you been experiencing about what you want to destroy or bury or release or reimagine? I'd love to hear from any of you to get the sharing started.
I can jump in. I'm Heather. I'm with Elevate Children Funders Group, and it's been a really rough year. And I think it's been really hard to get a team going remotely across, there's 3 of us across 8 time zones, and to feel connected with each other and connected with the work and excited when like you just sit with your butt in a chair and Zoom. And I feel like I got so disconnected. Like I actually got like depressed and anxious and end up like going on antidepressants for the first time in my life. It's just been crap. And so it's amazing that the antidepressants are great. Like actually, like I'm like, oh, I can access myself again. I can access my body again. I can feel sensations coming up from my butt. Like I'm like, hey, okay, this is when you do this, do a reset. But it made me think about like, I loved the idea of burying as something that might be bad, but you might want to grow, burn, just get rid of it, and the flowing and reimagining, because it kind of allowed me to access and say, okay, yeah, I want to bring in this reconnection with myself and this sense of calmness that I've been able to find in a much more deliberate way. So thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Anyone else?
I'm happy to jump in. One of the things that I found difficult this year, sort of personally and professionally, I've transitioned from being employed to actually semi-retirement, which has been fabulous, and it's been really good for me to be able to choose what I do when I do and to have much more balance in my life. But I have felt myself overwhelmed with social media and the negative and it's not necessarily negativity of social media, but the negativity or what I find negative in the world from a global perspective of all the challenges that are being experienced and the injustices that are happening everywhere. And one of the things that I have done and that I would like to carry forward to 2023 is I've specifically made space and time for myself to search out some positive things, like positive podcasts of people who are actually sowing seeds of real collectivity, of real sharing, of real kindness, of real compassion, of real growth, of doing lots of the things that we might fund, and just hearing conversations around that. So that kind of gives me a wonderful start to my day and helps to set me in a really positive place. I want to carry that forward for 2023, to really seek out those positive and really share those positive things that are happening, because there are so many tiny pockets of positivity that are happening across the globe. But what actually happens is those with the most money, the biggest voice, that want to really kind of not allow those things to happen to affect change, drowned out all of that's beautiful and powerful work that is happening across the globe. And I try and choose to do that when I'm lying in my ice bath, which was 0 degrees at -3 this morning.
Yes, let's be awake to that beauty. Thank you, Kate. Anyone else?
I'd like to offer a word that has come up for me a lot this year, and I think your exercises helped me repurpose it, which is, at the start of the year, I decided to choose a word for the year, and the word for the year that I've been working on is balance. And I recognized that I, partly because of neurodivergence, I'm someone who is easily underwhelmed, like there's just not enough interesting things happening, and is easily overwhelmed. There's too much to deal with, and the bandwidth in the middle where I am whelmed is very narrow. And actually, in trying to seek that balance, I have ended up kind of oscillating from one to the other, I think, a lot this year, of kind of saying no and then no, I'm flipping around. And actually, I looked up the word whelmed, and it refers to a kind of the point at which the cup is full but not overflowing. It's just that perfect balance place. It's not overwhelmed. It is water. It's whelm is water. And so this flow, I think whelm is where I want to be. And I'm gonna keep working with that. So thank you.
Thanks, Jenny. I'm gonna look up the etymology of whelm after this. As the word nerd. Thank you very much.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. We're all speaking the same language about what's going on in the world, and what I've been experiencing is the level of rage that is around me. Not necessarily that I am embodying now in this moment. I've spent a lot of time over the last 20 years really facing my own rage and working through it, and being in Jamaica, specifically recognizing the level of rage that's around all the time. It's just expressed on this super duper level, and I can sometimes feel it taking over myself. And so I'm releasing, burning, burying, composting, however I can, the space of moving from rage to relaxation and to reset in 2023. So shifting, not just shifting. I can't change people's rage, but I can find my own way around when that's coming at me, how I respond to it. And so that's the flow, is the shifting that, my response to it, and not even talking about it sometimes, just letting it be what it is and moving into restoring my own balance. And I love that whelm. I'm definitely with you, Jennifer. I'm gonna be looking that up. Can I use that? That's a really good one. It's a really good one. So thank you for all that you've been sharing. It's really been powerful and moving for me.
Thank you. And truly, all of this is about how we are able to relate to each other at the end of the day, and re-relate back to the earth, and re-relate back to how deeply connected we are. Yeah. So thank you very much for for naming that and describing how you are attempting to continue to relate to it, even as it feels everywhere. Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? Well, with that, I just want to thank you again for inviting us to be a part of this deep dive session. At Healing Solidarity, you know, part of what we are attempting to do together is that, you know, we just want to concretize in practice our notions of care and consent in this social good sector. Otherwise, we give so much lip service and so little action. So we really see this healing work as our responsibility, but also this opportunity that, you know, we feel like we're so lucky to be invited into any sort of group of people in recognition of this challenging year we've had, these difficult emotions, these harmful experiences. It's such an honor to like really help in any small way come back to the wholeness and the collective efforts that are the bright, shiny sparkles of this time. So with that, I'd love to close with another section from Turn On Your Light. Already the future is converging with the past. Already the world is converging. The diverse ways of the world will create wonderful new forms, lovely cultural explosions in the centuries to come. It is all in the air. It is all gathering in the underground, coming together majestically. We should listen to the things forming in the air, the things forming in the underground. We should do some deep, serious working on the spirit of the age if we are going to bring about a marvelous future, if we're going to have some control on how the unknown will affect us. The air must be altered. The underground must be understood. For the overground to be different. This distant music of the future haunts me, and I think it will be something amazing to hear. A delight to the gods, provided we don't lose our way more than we already have, and provided we are guided by our deepest love, the love that connects us all on this little globe of beauty. Yeah, beauty. I'm going to put in the chat, if it comes up here, all about Healing Solidarity, where to find us, where to see us, how to join us, how to support us. We are a volunteer-led effort, and we really count on our supporters to make all of this work with organizations and individuals in our sector possible. So thank you so much for inviting us and for staying with us. Thank you all. And I'll hand back to Jenny.
Thank you, Jennifer. And I'm great. I'm really pleased you put the link in the chat. Having met you guys in the run up to this, I've signed up to join the community over there at the Healing Solidarity Network. So that's great. I'm not going to go on. I'm just going to introduce our next speaker, who, as I said before, is an extraordinary human being, educator, ritualist, cultural drummer, spiritual earth activist. There are so many ways to describe them, but let's just meet them and experience them. Afia Walking Tree, over to you. You're on mute.
Unmute. Can you hear me now? Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Wonderful. Oh, can we just rub our hands together for a moment and just get some energy, light, love, and together I want to give some of what we've received to you and your collective, Jennifer, and bringing the hands out and putting them towards Jennifer and towards your collective, so you can really receive the love. And also, this is a reciprocal experience that I felt moved and touched in the moment, just your voice. And so thank you. And thank you for PGM for even the space that we're having here, to all of the people who make this possible for us to be in this circle together, and for all of us who chose to be sitting here in the flesh, and to all of the people who really wanted to be here and who are still going to receive the medicine that's here. Thank you. Just really honoring everyone. And I want to not forget that I'm not here alone. I'm here with Tay, Shantae, Portia's. You're going to see me taking stuff on and off because I'm in New York. I'm used to being in Jamaica. I have on way more clothes than I'm used to. So I'm going to be sweating and freezing at the same time. And so I just want to allow us to get started. And Tay, do you want to start your introduction with an introduction?
Sure. Hi everyone, my name is Shantae, but feel free to call me Tay. My pronouns are she, her. I am coming into healing justice work after doing my own inner work, and I'm still doing my own work, and being able to bring the medicine that I've already been experiencing to women and girls and the queer community here in Jamaica. And I stumbled upon Afia because of divine timing. And since then, we've embarked on a new journey together, doing some work at Solidarity Farms and bringing this medicine to other persons in our community in Jamaica, bringing it to the Caribbean, and now through PGM, we get to bring it internationally. So again, thanks for the space, and I am looking forward to sharing some of the work that we do with you all here today.
Yes. I want to acknowledge that how we are here is that I was at a Caribbean Women's Diversity conference in 2019, and Millie was in my workshop. That was about self-healing, radical self-healing. And we just turned ourselves inside out. And so how I come to this work, my pronouns are we, ze, she, they, them, nana. Call me whatever you want. He, I'm open to it all. Call me anytime. I am from Yamayeke, Taino land in Jamaica, and I am a survivor. I am a thriver. I've been living as a healing arts and healing justice practitioner, fostering connections through drumming, permaculture, and transformative coaching for over 35 years. And I've found home in many places. Everywhere I go, it feels like home. I've tried to find home in myself and in the people and the energies, but specifically I've been home in New York City, then California, and then in 2015 I began my return home after my grandmother passed. And that's been the most profound experience, to have been gone for so long, feeling as though I was never going to be able to make it back home because of the phobia, the transphobia and homophobia, and just the violence against women phobia, all of it. And to return home to foster relations in my Indigenous, Taino, Maroon, African, and LGBT roots has been absolutely amazing. So that's how I got here. And the tools that I've been utilizing to bring home, and I say bring home to Jamaica, have been shared with me by many, many, many teachers. I could be here a long time naming them. And what we're building in the movement, solidarity movement in Jamaica, is actually a collection of all the tools and stuff that I've been learning over the many years. And meeting Shantae as a part of sharing was a part of me sharing. I was sharing those tools when Shantae came into the picture at a women's retreat, where we invited some of the movement leaders to basically relax, to rest. As it was a profound experience, because people oftentimes who are in movement spaces, we're just going, and we forget how to rest. So we're going to spend some time resting today. The work that we do is often embodies emotional safety and inclusiveness for BIPOC women, girls, and LGBTQ folks, and home, land, food, climate resilience, all based upon regenerative, nature-based practices that honor our indigeneity. And indigeneity, we're really, all of us are indigenous to the space, to the land, to the beautiful planet we're on. With that, we imagine that economic accessibility and equity can also be prioritized in those communities. We have a mission that's really based in building bridges and promoting harmonious relationships. And I really loved what you were saying, Jennifer, which is moving from transactional to relational dynamics in our communities, and cultivating access towards food security, climate resilience, wellness, healing justice, economic advancement. And all of that really starts with us, me, and with prioritizing how we care for self radically impacts how we care for each other, how we care for the community, how we care for the earth, how we care for the community, everything, our families. And so we really do our best to prioritize stepping into core values, looking at what our core values are, so that we can recapitulate, we can pivot, we can transform, transition. So some of what we're going to practice today, look at today, is how we just look at some of the values that we've had, and using some somatic practices to support that. Really thank you for being here and being with us today. Shantae. Oh, you're off. Or you're on mute. You're muted. You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. I'm not sure what just happened, but one of the ways that we like to bring a space together and bring people together is to establish group agreements. And these are just some that we use to practice at Solidarity Farms. And I would love if everyone, while you are muted, for you to read them along with me, to have them echoing in your space and in your spirit. And the first agreement goes: I use I to think, third I, the all-seeing I statements. I speak from my own experience and refrain from generalizing that my experience is another's. I embrace discomfort. Discomfort is required for growth and learning. Privilege conditions me to expect comfort and to conflate comfort with safety. I consider both and instead of either or. I let go of binary thinking. I approach with curiosity rather than certainty and assume we all have something to learn from each other. I listen carefully to others. I ask questions to clarify intent and meaning. I take care of myself so I can remain present. Putting aside my own needs does not serve for greater purpose. I'd love for us to take a collective breath in, exhale, and anything that you would think that stands out for you, feel free to put it in the chat. And we are going to segue over to Afia to lead us in a meditation around and money.
Thank you. One of the things that I realized I wanted to know is where everybody's from. It feels like it's a very important thing for me anyway, land acknowledgements, where people are coming from. So if you wouldn't mind putting it in your chat, or when you do speak, say where you're from, and say it a little slowly so that those of us who can't catch everything because of the Zoom feedback can hear, but would love to hear and or just see where everyone is from, and or where you call home. We're going to spend a few moments practicing a little Kundalini. Kundalini yoga has saved my life, so I can vouch for it. Yoga in general has saved many lives, and the Kundalini yoga that I practice is about awakening. And I know that word has come up already today. And so we're going to just spend some time in the heart chakra, because that is a lot of the times a place where we either are receptive or not receptive. And it's also where we hold a lot of judgments, self-judgments in the heart chakra. So we're going to just do some very simple opening the lung capacity to just anchor more. I feel as though, Jennifer, you really opened us very well, and so I know that we're open already, but want to just imagine there's more opening that's possible. So in Kundalini, we use a breath of fire, and it's like how many people have had that? You could just put your hand up. Breath of fire, you're aware of what that is. And if you're not, okay, great. So breath of fire is like, imagine a dog panting, and dogs pant. As I pant, I'm like pumping energy from my stomach, and it's an acquired taste, so don't worry whether you get it right or not. But what happens with the breath of fire is that it allows the oxygen to come in and the carbon to push out. And that allows for the cell renewal process to speed up, to open up the cells, and you really feel like you took a shower after. So you can bear with me for a while. Put your hands on your belly, take a deep breath in and out. And yes, water up anytime you need. Thanks for that reminder. Breathing in again and out. And on this time, we're going to breathe in and start panting through our nose. And if you are unable to make a sound, that's okay. If you are able to not breathe this way, you can continue to breathe your regular deep breath in and deep breath out. Having this breath of fire allows for the body to get a quick electrical tune-up. You can bring your eyes down to the floor. You may notice there are places in your body, keep going, where you might be starting to feel like, oh, there's something there. Just breathe into that space. If there's something in the shoulder, breathe into that. And bring the breath in Suspend the breath to the top and release it to the nose. I like to shake my body a little bit at the end of that. Just give yourself a little shakedown. For a lot of the times we sit in one position for a long time and we don't move. And what I know is that trauma lives in the body because a lot of the times it just sits there. So we want to be able to. I don't see anybody moving. It's just me. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Moving around, just getting it, shaking out the hands, shaking out the feet, shaking it out. You can get off camera if you don't feel that comfortable. That's fine with me. I want you to bring some voice to it too. Okay, and just allowing the body to settle in. Notice anything? Can you feel the energy flowing around you? It's your body just, its receptors are just settling. It's just like, ooh. And then you're just receiving your body. We're going to bring our hands to our shoulders. Taking a deep breath in and out. This is a place where a lot of us carry everything. We carry the world. Just squinching up the shoulder a little bit. Yeah, and down. Down to the rib cage and up. And get as much breath in and out. Just drop it. And down. Bring it up. And down. And up. Taking a big breath in and out. Through the nose. And one more. And down. And we're going to twist a little bit. Looking at behind you, breathing in on the left. And on the right, you're breathing out. Breathing in and out. Losing the breath to turn the body. This is like a washing machine. So we're washing out anything that no longer serves us. Cleaning out. And as we turn the shoulders, we turn the ribs. Imagining some of the stuff that was on your list to release and burn. Imagine them purifying with this water and this air. Bringing energy and bringing it center. Bringing the arms all the way up. Oh, and bringing the head back. And releasing. Coming all the way down. Just letting the body settle in. Taking a moment to feel what's present right now. From here, I'm going to introduce you to beauty. This is beauty. And take your time coming forward. What's happening is the body's just allowing itself now to recalibrate. So in the midst of the body recalibrating, we were gonna move into a meditation, and we've been talking about focusing on what we've been releasing from this year, that's been difficult, challenging, and what we want to flow into this year. And so we've been thinking about money. We want to shift the focus because many of us have been brought up with certain ideas about money as our supply. You know, we need money in order to do this, we need money in order to do that. If we don't have money, we can't do this. And given that we're in this funding space, we're thinking about money quite a bit. And so, and as we are thinking about money, I know that what I love about this social good organization that we've been invited into is that we are relearning how to think about money, how to think about funding, and recognizing that money is not our supply. When we think of it from a healing justice standpoint, it is not our source, it is not our supply, and that we can look at these mainstream values and we can reinvent, or we can shift the way that we think about it from our own inner selves, from our own inner guidance, by tuning in to what is our source. And in many schools of indigenous practice, we know that our source is infinite. It is not money. It is an infinite source, and it's not a person. It's not a place or a thing. It is infinite. It is just that which exists all around us, inside of us. So we're going to spend some time pivoting in this meditation, and I'm going to invite you to find a comfortable space. You can lay, you can sit, whatever you need to do. You can find a comfortable way to sit. You can put your hands on your knees, however you desire. But we are going to recalibrate some of these values and finding a way through this powerful medicine of the drum. Imagine yourself thinking about how you've been raised to think about money. Thinking about some of those values that we have about money based on race, based on class, based on gender, and based on basically inequities. And that we continue to perpetuate those. So in our meditation, we are finding a new space. We know that things will come up where we might find there's blocks on the path. We're not trying to get rid of those blocks. We want to notice what they are so we can transform them. Finding your breath, let your breath be your guide down that path. Let the heart beat. Continue breathing. Imagining ourselves creating that abundant space from an infinite source. Allowing yourself to see clearly. That there is enough for everyone. that there is an abundant source available and being redistributed so that everyone can have access to what they need. See yourself in the center. I am everything. I'm that I am. And allowing that space to bring you into the room. I am that I am. I create my personal abundance from an infinite source. That infinite source is available to everyone. Inviting you to return to the space. Coming into the room. And seeing any object in the room or feeling colors that uplift you. Noticing your body, a space in your body that feeling more alive and more awake. And I know that we have very limited time. I wish we could all share, but feel free to share in the chat how that feels for you.
Thank you, Afia. All right, Jerry. Great day. I will be sharing a poll in the chat for our next activity. So feel free to open the link so you have it there. And then when we do the next activity, you'll be able to answer the question. So after Afia led us through that meditation about feeling into what a good relationship with money can look like for ourselves as individuals, we're going to be leaning into what it feels like for us to have a good relationship with money as a community. What does it mean to incorporate healing justice in the participatory grant making approach, and what that can look like and how we can embody it? And to help us, what we're going to do is emotional freedom tapping. If you've done before emotional freedom tapping, you can always just raise your hands. I'm curious to know. I know it's not a practice that persons are always exploring. So for those of you who don't know, emotional freedom tapping is an alternative treatment for physical pain and emotional distress. It's also tapping or psychological acupuncture. And persons who have done this believe that tapping the body can create a balance of your energy system and to treat pain. And it's just a basic point on the body that you're just going to tap. So we're begin by taking a breath in. Edge of the right chops, tapping the right hand into the left arm. Just tapping. Then you're doing habit. Up to above the eyebrows with the tips of the fingers. And then we look to the sides of the eyes, also known as your temples. Of the mouth, below the chin, your collarbone, where each you'll do an arm at a time. You can also do the chest right where your heart is, just gently tap. Then reverse up to the head. And then you with so as we tap, I want us to think about what could healing look and feel like for communities involved in participatory grant making. What shows up in your body? Do you feel relaxed? Do you feel relieved? Do you feel okay? Could everyone mute their mics? I'm hearing keyboard typing. How do we move to an abundance mindset, feeling worthy of abundance and funding and monies? Do we feel that we are deserving of money? Do our communities feel like they are deserving of support in the systems that have always been inequitable? As the persons who are leading organizations, how do we feel about giving money? Do we allow our individual perspectives to inform how we give money? Do we feel like they're emotional spenders and we prefer for it to be spent in other ways? Do we force our beliefs about money in our processes, in our plannings, in our executions? Do we ask for the input of our communities when we're thinking of how we spend, how we receive, how we ask for monies? In that process, how do we challenge some of the perspectives that we hold? What is our energy around receiving money? Especially if it comes from agencies or organizations that are not supportive of communities that we are supporting or ideologies that we support, but they still offer you financial support. How does your heart feel when you have to ask for money? How does your heart feel when you are giving money? What thoughts come up for you around money? Receiving it, giving it, having it, not having it, not feeling deserving of it, having it after a period of not having it. We're just going to let the hands fall gently away from the body. And take a breath in, out. Please fill your responses in at the poll. And I'd love if someone were able to come on mic and share their feeling around that and how healing justice can look for communities involved in the participatory grant making process.
I'm just going to hop in briefly with my facilitator hat on and say that it is just coming up to 5:30 now. Millie is going to share the feedback for the session in the chat for anyone who has to leave straight away. But we'll carry on for a few more minutes and finish the process that Tay has started so wonderfully for us. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for coming. No problem. All right, Afia, would you like to segue us to the next slide? I'm hoping that persons would have gotten the opportunity to answer the poll, and persons did. And we'll share this with Millie. So Millie, in your follow-up email, you can share it with persons.
Thank you, Tay. I see that since I'm thinking this out loud with everyone, since we are at 12:31, and I know how time is of the essence for everyone, we had one more activity, and I believe it would be best to just use this moment to allow anyone to share anything that they'd like to share about the activity that we just did the tapping on. If anything came forward that you would like to share, just or brainstorm anything that came forward, and from there we'll just do a brief closing, just so that we can keep in our time. So anyone want to share anything that? Okay, so what we'll do then is we'll move to the closing, just a brief closing, so that we can move it to our next thing that we're all scheduled for. And just want to thank you all for participating as deeply as you have, and I'm gonna pass it on to Tay.
So our brief closing was around self-soothing practices. So what brings you joy? What allows you to feel safe after a moment when you need deep comfort and deep joy? I know for me, that's holding myself, probably being in fetal position, getting cake, maybe having some gin and tonic. Because self-soothing is a space where there's no judgment, and there are practices that you realize you've done over the years, and they result in uplifting you and your spirit versus making you feel worse about the situation. So what are some of those things that you would love to introduce to your organizations? Like how do you begin to see that as your healing justice in your everyday lives? I love a nap right now. It's nap time for me. But because I'm in a 9 to 5, I don't nap anymore. So it's going to be lunchtime, and then there's going to be a walk, and then sitting with myself and planning how the rest of my day is going to go, and waiting for the clock to time out and leaving work on time. So I love if we could turn on our mics and speak if we want to do the whole let's have a conversation so we can hear other voices. Lily, would you like to go first?
How did you know my finger was over the mute? One of the things that I've found to be helpful in terms of self-soothing, at the end of the day, especially if I've been around a lot of people, I don't know, I feel like I take on so many different energies throughout the time that I'm with people, that sometimes I leave certain spaces feeling overwhelmed because I've taken on so much. So I literally go to my room and just close the door, leave the lights off, especially if it's dark. So I've been on the hunt for dark out curtains for, I feel like it's like 3 months now, and I can't seem to get them anywhere in St. Lucia. They have the label dark out on it, but when I put it up, there's all this light coming through. So I'm still searching, because for me, being in a space where I can just kind of close off everything and pretend, even if it's just for 5 minutes, that it's just me, that has helped a lot. I find, especially
doing so many different things, I'm often feeling like I'm stretched really thin. So that is a way of kind of just thinking of me for 5 minutes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Have you tried eye masks? Those changed my life, on top of having blackout curtains.
Yes, so I got a pair and I've been in love. So when I put it to wash, then I'm miserable because I've gotten so used to so used to it, because that's the only thing that kind of helps. I really don't know where the blackout curtains are in St. Lucia, why we don't have them here. I mean, it's always sunny, so at least you would think that every now and then somebody wants a little darkness. The sun comes up like 6 o'clock in the morning, like it's bright sun.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to go before we segue out of this space together?
Just hearing beloved's voices is a grounding, soothing thing for me.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I would like us to take a closing collective breath in. Suspend and hold for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. If you would like to reach out to Solidarity Farms, or information was shared before, and I know Millie is going to reshare some stuff. We're also going to attach our slides so you can have that as a reference point to see what we would have done. And it was so nice being here with you in community, sitting in spirit virtually. And I'm hoping that we get to all meet in a different way soon. Over to you, Jenny.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful, soothing experience. The rhythms and the touch, and that really, for me, it's very important to be reminded of that embodied feeling of this as self-care. I am a person who often thinks my way through things and only does the work here. So thank you for this great invitation to work with our bodies and the rhythms and the energy around us. And thanks also to Jennifer for the creation, the words, the poetry, and also another great way of releasing. And thanks to all of you for being here for this just over an hour and a half with us. I'm going to put my websites into the chat just as well, in case anybody's looking for me. Millie, is there anything else that we need to say from an admin or organizing point of view? Not really.
No, just to say thank you again for joining, for everybody who took the time out to join this healing session, for our amazing facilitator and speakers who took the time to do their magic. It was really great having you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks everyone for all of that beautiful work. And hopefully as this year comes to a close, we are able to feel some of that healing individually, collectively. And thanks for sharing this space. I'll stay here, but leave whenever you wish.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thanks, guys. I'll say goodbye too. I just thought I'd hang on in case there was any little questions at the end.
Thank you, Jenny.
Take care. Thanks a lot.